Capital News tonight. Members of the Parliament commended the Controller and Auditor's General report, which has revealed massive misappropriation of public funds. Two people have been arrested at Julius Nyerere International Airport after being found in possession of 13.4 kilos of heroin. And in sports, Simba Sports Club head coach Didier Gomez da Rosa says winning the CAF Champions League Group A game against Al Ahly shows they are now a big team. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is MWANZA. Let's get started with the national news. Several members of the Parliament have commended the 2019-2020 Controller and Auditor's General report, which has revealed massive misappropriation of funds from public institutions. The MPs have urged the government to take stern actions on all those implicated in embezzlements of the funds.
Kwa Mheshimiwa Rais, Mheshimiwa Mama yetu Samia Suluhu Hassan, ni kwamba hakikisha kwamba anakuwa na jicho linalo.
My call to our dear President, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, is to make sure that she monitors everything from CAG report. It shows that people are not to be trusted, because even at the moment when the government was stern in fulfilling its obligations by ensuring that resources are used for the benefit of Tanzanians, unscrupulous people took the same opportunity to embezzle public funds. This shows that there is need of doing special investigations on areas that still have issues of embezzlement. Our culture sector has employed over 80% of Tanzanians. Then the government should invest more on agricultural inputs. I come from Morogoro. There is over 2 million hectares that are favorable for irrigation farming.
A day after the Controller and Auditor's General Report 2019-2020 report was made public, economists and citizens have given their views, with others calling on the government to revamp its auditing system in order to control loss of public funds.
Time has come for us to start doing real-time reporting, meaning that these audit reports should be released when such incidences are happening and not a year later. This custom of reporting incidences later is delaying possibilities of controlling such incidences to occur. In the end, the CAG report looks like a mere wake-up call, while many bad things have already happened.
Tumepokea salama sisi wa Tanzania na inatuonyesha.
As citizens, we have received CAG report well, since it allows Tanzanians to see how embezzlements were done in public institutions. We are calling on the government to take stern measures.
The development after the Controller and Auditor's General Annual Report for the year ending June 13, 2020 was made public yesterday. The Minister of State in the President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government, Mwalimu, has said that the report also shows increase in suspect deeds from 9 to 53 in various councils, whereby she has directed disciplinary actions be taken against treasurers who councils have received suspect deeds.
Uchambuzi wa wataalamu umebaini kuwa uwezo wa kielimu kwa waweka hazina haikuwa sababu kwa halmashauri zetu 61 kupata hati mbaya.
Education level of treasuries is not a reason for our 61 councils to get bad certificate, since councils have employed treasuries with good qualifications, where a person with minimum academic level has a diploma in auditing. Also, treasury of 22 councils out of 61 have certificate of CPA. Also, councils have collected revenues, but 18 billion shillings revenues were not banked. Councils that lead in this problem include Shinyanga Council with 2.63 billion shillings, Misenyi 1.26 billion shillings. The rest of other revenues that were collected must be banked immediately.
Misenyi yenye shilingi bilioni 1.26.
The Defense and Security Committee in NYAMAGANA District, MWANZA region has warned residents against violating laws after an angry mob attacked the home of a chairman of Ihushi Street in Kishiri Ward, from whom they accused of killing a youth identified as Kusekwa George, allegedly for stealing slippers.
The OCD of Nyamagana station, please take this matter seriously by arresting all the criminals who killed the youth. My fellows, do not take laws into your hands. Let the police force do their work. I was told there was murder. I came with a group of angry youth whom, once they arrived at the scene area, they started demolishing the house, while others wanted to burn the house down. I witnessed that mob demolishing the house and not the neighbors. It seemed that it was a group of gangsters that he was working with. When the family wanted the body of their child, that was when the gangsters started chaos. However, we thank security organs for their intervention and how they handled them. When we thought everything was back to normal, as we wanted to take the body of our child, that was the same group that came back for more destructions.
2 days after the government of Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar agreed to end the conflict with Chinese fishing vessels, marine authorities have been directed to agree to receive $1 million from the owners of the 24 Chinese ships that had stopped engaging in fishing activities.
The conflict has been there for a while, following our attendants overruling stipulated laws. After discussions with lawyers as ministers, we have decided to take what has been offered for them to be given permit and continue to work.
Residents in Andeni District, Tanga region faces challenges in accessing some essential social services, including healthcare, due to ongoing rains which have caused a distraction on road infrastructures.
As elders, we are suffering a lot. It is difficult to go to town to seek for medical services. Unfortunately, we do not have a dispensary in the area.
Barabara ni kubwa, ina maana inatoa kata yetu na vijiji vitatu.
Our ward has 3 villages. To us, this is the main road. When it is in such state, our residents faces delays in services. Again, when it rains, it is even much more difficult for people to get health services at the district hospital. Pregnant women have been suffering a lot. As Tarura, we are facing financial challenges. It is not easy for us to accomplish projects under such environment.
The police force at Julius Nyerere International Airport in Dar es Salaam has arrested 2 people, a woman resident of Kivule and a man resident of Morogoro, after they were found transporting 13.4 kilos of heroin.
Waliwasili hapa uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa wa Julius Nyerere kwa ndege ya shirika la ndege la Air Tanzania wakitokea Harare nchini Zimbabwe.
They arrived at Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere Airport from Harare, Zimbabwe. They were on transit to Bombay, India through Air Tanzania. The citizens were arrested at the airport. Investigations are still ongoing. Once investigations are complete, they will be taken to court.
Mobile company Tigo has announced a 3-day offer for Tigo Pesa customers after incurring inconveniences caused by maintenance services that lasted for 3 days.
Hali ilikuwa ni mbaya sana. Sio hali nzuri. Na kwa mtandao mkubwa kama huu.
The situation was very bad. People depend on mobile networks in different activities. Next time they should inform people earlier.
Ofa ni nzuri, ndugu mwandishi wa habari. Sasa wakae chini wa
I urge them to make sure that such situations that would never happen again. People suffered a lot. I advise other companies to learn from what happened to their fellow mobile network so that it will not happen to their customers.
And that is the end of the national news. International news comes next after the break. And in international news, Prince Philip, the husband of Queen Elizabeth II, has died aged 99 on Friday. More on the story. Edinburgh had spent 4 weeks in a UK hospital earlier this year to receive treatment for an infection and have a heart procedure, but returned to Windsor in early March. He had been by the Queen's side throughout her 69-year reign, the longest in British history. His last public appearance came last July at a military ceremony at Windsor Castle, the royal palace to the west of London, where he and the monarch have resided during COVID-19 lockdowns. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, several protesters have been arrested and others injured during clashes with the police who were deployed to stop the protests. The protesters are calling for removal of the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the DRC MONUSCO, who they accuse of failing to bring peace in the nation in the past 20 years. People have been killed in Beni, and we cannot stay silent. Seeing our brothers dead, we want peace in Beni and we want MONUSCO out. About 1.4 million people in Kenya have started to receive food aid, with the government saying 2.2 billion shillings is needed to support those affected by drought. In order to be able to effectively respond in the emergency situation in the affected country, our budget is more than 2.2 billion Kenyan shillings. Due to delay in the rain season, the situation could get worse. We're asking international organizations to provide relief aid. The actual harvest for the year was 5.5 million. That made us import from this side, and maybe the situation could get worse comparing to the harvest in this year. Chad's President Idris Deby is looking to extend his 3-decade rule in an election on Sunday, despite mounting calls for political change. Opposition leaders have urged the supporters to boycott the poll and called for fresh protests against Deby's 6 terms bid. A former military officer, Deby, came to power spearheading the rebellion that overthrew longtime military ruler Hissène Habré in 1990. And that is the end of international news. Business comes next after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
And in business news, the government has said that the central bank can penalize any bank found to cause loss to customers' money through theft, as the situation is caused by shortcomings in the bank's procedures. The statement was made in Parliament, DODOMA, by the Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Engineer Hamad Yusuf Msauni, when responding to a question from Jangombe MP Ali Hassan King.
Kaunti ya benki ya mteja, uchunguzi wa kina hufanywa na vyombo husika katika masuala ya upelelezi.
When theft occurs in a client's account, the investigation is carried out by the relevant agencies, including the police force and PCC. Deputy Speaker, if the theft is found to have been committed by a bank employee, disciplinary actions are being taken together with brought to justice with the central bank punishing the responsible bank. Farmers in Singida region have been urged to engage in vanilla farming in order to increase their incomes, as the crop has profitable prices in the market, selling at between 700,000 to 1 million shillings a kilo. Let's go fast and get rid of poverty, the people of Singida. The speed of escaping poverty in Singida is on rocket speed. If you take care of this plant, it gives you 2 kilograms for the first season, which is equivalent to 10 acres of sunflower or corn harvest. The farmer will get a lot of money to sell these leaves, but also after 7 to 11 months, will harvest vanilla beans. The government has started to invest on research that will help to develop tourism in national parks in the southern highlands such as Ruaha, Katavi and Kitulo, so as to increase the number of tourists visiting the parks. There should be one main goal so that we can promote tourism. There must be a research agenda in this legal project. A research agenda was prepared, which is called a legal research agenda, to identify research challenges, but also to identify things that will promote our tourist attractions for Tanzanians and foreigners to find out what's up in the southern highlands. The main goal is to prepare data work and legal implements it on research issues, and that is why researchers and experts have gathered for the preparation of institutional data. And that is the end of business news. Sports comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Len.
And in sports, Simba Sports Club head coach Didier Gomez da Rosa believes winning the CAF Champions League Group A game against Al Ahly at Al Ahly Stadium on Friday night will prove the East Africans are now a big team. Here's more.
Peacemaker's first half scrim on February 23rd sealed maximum points for the hosts at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam in the reverse fixture. Speaking to the media ahead of the match, the tactician considered it will probably be a tough match, but his charges are going for a win. The Frenchman has further stated he will be fielding his best against the hosts, since there is nothing preventing him from doing so.
Yanga Sports Club media liaison officer Hassan Bumbuli has called on the mainland Premier League officials to ensure there is fair play in the second round. Here are more details.
The Premier League resumed on Thursday after a 14-day break that was meant to give honor to the departed president Pombe Magufuli. Some Yanga fans have complained of unfairness, especially in the last 6 games before the break, where their team picked up 4 draws and a win and a loss. The most controversial case was Pius Biswita struck in the stoppage time for Police Tanzania during a 1-1 draw on March 7th.
Mikel Antonio could miss the rest of the seasons after scans reveals that the striker's hamstring injury is worse than first feared, further denting West Ham's hope of Champions League qualification. Here is the story.
Antonio limped off during West Ham's win over Wolves on Monday and has been undergoing tests on the damage to his left hamstring. He's out of the home game against Leicester on Sunday, and hopes of a swift return have been dashed after initial assessments, with the 31-year-old expected to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. West Ham are without their influential midfielder Declan Rice for 4 to 6 weeks because of a knee injury, and were desperate not to lose another key player for a significant period. Although David Moyes struck an optimistic tone after his side climbed to 4th by beating Wolves, it remains to be seen whether Antonio features again this season.
La Liga have found no evidence that Joan Carla racially abused Mokhtar Diakhaby after investigating the event that led to Valencia walking off the pitch in protest. Here is the report.
The league's findings do not mean that the case will be closed, with the Spanish Football Federation also looking into the incident, but an examination of audio recordings and an analysis of the footage with the assistance of lip-reading experts did not deliver proof that the Cadiz defender referred to his opponent as a Negro de Mierda, which translates referee. Valencia walked off during the first half of the league game on Sunday, only to later return and play out the rest of the game without Diakhaby. Valencia released a statement in which they accused Carla of subjecting their player to racist abuse, and later said that they had chosen to continue without him because of the risk of having to forfeit the game and face further punishment.
Mikel Arteta gave an update on Martin Odegaard's injury after the Real Madrid loanee was forced to meet Arsenal's 1-1 Europa League draw with Slavia Prague last night. Here's more.
Odegaard returned to Emirates Stadium from international duty with Norway last week, nursing an ankle issue, but still managed to play the full 90 minutes of the Gunners' 3-0 Premier League defeat to Liverpool last weekend. Arteta decided not to risk the 22-year-old again in the first Europa quarter-final leg, however, and admitted post-match that the playmaker may need some extra time on the sidelines to make a full recovery. Asked if he had any concerns over Odegaard's long-term availability, Arteta told the press conference, "We don't know."
And that sports item ends on News Bulletin. Thank you for watching and good night.